Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I will be presenting to you very interesting short videos that I came across about the Ashkenazi Jews, Khazarian Jews, as well as we will look into the official website of Chabad Lubavitch and how many locations in the world they have. That is an interesting one. And the last, but definitely not least, is a video in which you're gonna hear if President Trump is going to build the third temple in Jerusalem. As many of you know, there is a story or the belief that, for example, Chabad Lubavitch holds that the Messiah will come when the third temple is built, as well as when Europe is destroyed, with help of Islam. That is the official version. I'm not making this up, so you can do your research and look it up yourself. Before I start with the video, I want to say big thank you to Ajmal. If I mispronounce your name, apologies. Ajmal, and to Ernest. Thank you so much to both of you for your donations. I very, very much appreciate. So let's maybe start with this short video that is quite interesting one. And I think this is really good format because it's short, informative, and many of you already know a lot of those things. I am learning as I go along. I am absolutely not an expert in any of it. I have never knew about those things until very recently, but it looks like it's all connected. So let's take a listen to some very interesting story about the Khazarian people.
To that false flag attack where they blamed the Pakistanis for a slaughter inside of in Mumbai. That was actually run out of a Lubavitch center, a travel center put on by Chabad Lubavitch, and the whole thing was under the guise, they're under the control of the Lubavitch. The Lubies had not been well known until I started talking about them about 7 years ago. They were really under the radar, and I started putting their information everywhere. I wasn't the first to know about their crimes or the fact that they were doing what they were doing, but I was the first person to popularize it within the alternative media. What ends up happening here is we have been pointing the finger at who controls the Lubavitch. Now, the Lubavitch is controlled through the banking fortunes of Rothschild, Oppenheimer, Levy, Solomon, Kahn, Loeb, and all of these different families, the Brahmins and others, and the Honigs out of, they were very big in the Austro-Hungarian Empire, but all these different leadership Jewish families from the Ashkenazi sect are involved in the financing and support of this worldwide expansion of Lubavitch. And they are basically centers for them to set up infiltrations even. Or in New York City, they run out and they've actually done assassinations that they've been fingered for. So, very dangerous group. They believe that non-Jews are cattle. They call us that. The name that we are given, and it means cattle, is goyim. And they believe that we are put on this earth to serve Jews. And their rabbis within Lubavitch have stated as much, even recently, about 4 weeks ago. The Lubavitch rabbi in Israel said that goyim were placed on the earth to serve Jews. In their documentation of the Babylonian Talmud, believed after they wipe out the bulk of human populations that are non-Jewish, there'll be 20 slaves for every Jew alive. That's what they believe in their Talmud. So that false flag attack.
So quite interesting, isn't it? since he mentioned again the same Chabad Lubavitch that I have been recording videos lately about quite a lot. If you haven't seen it, go back and check out my previous videos. Let's just go to their official website. So when you are searching for Chabad Lubavitch website, you come across this. This is the original website that you come across right here, chabad.org. I was also reading to you from this particular website a story about the first Rothschild. So that was from this website. Now, when we scroll down all the way here, you have Chabad locator. So when we click on this, you're going to see the map all around the world, the locations of this particular movement. But this is the synagogues, the children educational facilities. There are different forms of offices or places of worship all around the world. So as you see, very dense area right here, as well as in Europe, and also as well as in Russia right here, and Ukraine, absolutely in Ukraine. So let's zoom it a little bit. Let's just focus on this area here. We have two in Poland. We have in Warsaw and in Kraków, by the way. You see a lot locations here in Ukraine because this is the project, And you see quite a number in Russia, quite a number in Moscow. So a lot in the United Kingdom as well. The Netherlands, Belgium. Let me see if I can zoom it even more. Yes, I can. So you see pretty dense here in Moscow area too, and many spots in Ukraine, on both sides of Ukraine. Okay, so let's now look into this. I wanted to know, since I was bringing to our attention this particular movement that, let's just put in a nice way, it's not healthy for humanity, since they are so present in Russia that really, guys, and I know I come across like really intense lately. I will address it in another video. I am very disappointed about what I'm discovering, and this is now I'm kind of accepting it, but in the beginning it wasn't easy for me, okay? Because I really wanted to move to Russia. But seeing all of this, let's look into this, guys. So, how many Chabad Lubavitch locations are in Russia? And please don't tell me, don't look at this or this. You can do your own research and maybe you have different numbers, but if on the official website of the Chabad Lubavitch you see so many locations, then there must be something. There are more than 170 Chabad Lubavitch centers in over 170 cities across Russia. This is a lot. With the movement having a dominant presence in the Russian Jewish life. This includes 35 centers in Moscow alone, which serves thousands of Jewish families in the capital city. All right, so I will not comment on this. Let's go to the next video.
One of the world's dirtiest secrets is that the exterminated Jews in Nazi Germany were not considered real Jews. They were considered Khazar Russians and Eastern Europeans whose ancestors converted to Judaism in 740 AD under their king, King Bulan. Their bloodline dates back to the Turkish tribes and to the powerful empire of Khazaria that once controlled all of Russia. Arthur Kessler, who wrote The 13th Tribe, claims that over 90% of today's Jews are racially non-Jewish and have no genetic relationship to the 12 tribes of Israel. Today's Jews, says Kessler, are more related to Attila the Hun than King Solomon of Israel. 2,000 years ago, when the Roman conquerors evicted the 12 tribes from Israel, the largest tribes, called Dan and Naphtali, settled in Denmark and Norway. Their Viking king, called King Canute, One of the world's dirtiest secrets is that the exterminated Jews in Nazi Germany.
So here again, I'm learning something new that I didn't know about before. And I'm sure a lot of you have already came across this information. But I have, guys, another interesting clip for you. So let me take you to continuation of this topic, of that map. That map is very important because, in my opinion, this project Ukraine, it's something definitely connected with the movement of those people returning back to their so-called land and creating the new great Khazaria, Israel, however they want to call it. So let's take a look at this. Actually, I'm going to read this to you. I'm going to read this because this is originally in German. So just bear with me. This video is subtitled. Where do I have it? It's right here. Okay, so I'm going to read it, guys, because this is in German. Here you see the map of Khazaria. What happened? The Eastern European Jews, who formed 92% of the world's population, of those people who called themselves Jews, were originally Khazar. They were a warlike pride that lived deep in the heart of Asia, and they were so warlike. There's the map. That even the Asiatics drove them out of Asia into Eastern Europe and reduced this so you don't, sorry for the slowdown, so you don't get too confused about the history of Eastern Europe. They set up to seek Khazar Kingdom. 800,000 square miles only, Russia. 800,000 square miles only, Russia. This map, very important. There were no other countries, and the Khazar Kingdom was the biggest country in all Europe. So big and so powerful that when the other monarchs wanted to go to war, they would loan them 40,000 soldiers. That's how big and powerful they were. Now they were phallic worshippers. You know what is this? I don't have to explain. Amazon, everyone. They were phallic worshippers, which is filthy. I don't want to go into the details of that now. It was their religion, it's a satanic religion, the way it was the religion of many other pagans or barbarians. Does that remind you of something? Now the king became so disgusted with the degeneracy of his kingdom that he decided to adopt this a so-called monotheist, either Christianity, Islam, or Muslim faith, or what is known today as Judaism, really Talmudism. So like he picked out so-called Judaism and that became the state religion, and he sent down to the Talmudic schools of Tel Avita and Surah and brought up thousands of these rabbis. What a story, huh? With their teaching, and opened up synagogues and schools on his kingdom of 800,000 people, 800,000 square miles, and maybe 10 to 20 million people, and they became what we call Jews. So that's another story, guys. You know, I think at this point, when you look at how it's all being run and controlled, like this first video that I presented to you, the names of those families and the banking system. I came across information some time ago that Rothschilds had offices in Moscow. And actually, when you look it up, it looks like that office has been temporarily, I think temporarily probably, closed. So let's look at this again together. Rothschild in Russia, Moscow, office. So there is a Rothschild and Co. There is an office in Russia in Moscow, but it's been operating there since mid-1990s, but allegedly they closed that office since the special military operation has begun. So it says here, suspension of operations. In March 2022, Rothschild & Co. temporarily halted its advisory services in Russia. Its wealth management unit also stopped taking on new clients who were Russian citizens. Some of its local staff were relocating during this period. So even though this particular office is not operating at this moment, is temporarily closed, but still this Chabad Lubavitch is run by people, the same people really. So even if you don't have officially, like this is Rothschild's office, you have the Chabad Lubavitch that reports to those people because that's who is pulling the strings. So we should not be surprised. It's all connected. Really, it's all of this is connected. So now let's look at the last, but definitely not least video about, is Trump going to build the third temple? So the press secretary has been asked this question by one of the journalists during the press conference at the White House. This is pretty recent, actually. Let me find it. It's right here. Okay, so Caroline Levitt was asked by Jewish White House correspondent, and what is her response to his questions? Let's take a listen. Is he going to build the temple or he's not?
Go ahead.
Thank you, Carolyn. I've got two
Hi,
questions.
Jay. And then we'll go to you. Thank you. You're welcome.
Two quick questions. Back to the ballroom. It is a very spectacular ballroom, according
Thank
to the
you.
renderings. And if it's half as nice as the one in Mar-a-Lago, then future presidents are really going to appreciate it.
They will. Thank you, Jake.
First of all, is there like an official name? Like, are we calling it the Trump Ballroom, or does the president have a vision for what the name for the ballroom is going to be?
There will be an official name. I will let the president announce that once he firmly decides on it.
And my second question is, looking at these renderings, and it kind of got me thinking, he's likely going to go down as the greatest builder of this era, and you've been in on a lot of those meetings with him. Has, to your knowledge, has the subject of rebuilding the Holy Temple in Jerusalem come up?
It has not. No, it has not. I don't. I'm sorry, Jake. Go ahead.
Caroline, on this.
So there you have it, everyone. Do I think he's gonna build it? You want to know my opinion? I think he will. I actually think he will. But what do I know? What do I know? God only knows. Time will tell. And this is all what I have for you today. You will find the links attached down below in the description box. Thank you so much for all your support or your good energy and for being here with me. It's not an easy journey, but they say the truth will set you free. So let's keep on digging for some more interesting discoveries. The links are down below, like I said, in the description box. If you appreciate the content, thank you for hitting thumbs up and subscribing, leaving the comments down below, letting me know, do you think there will be a third temple? And is Trump going to build it? What do you think? And if you choose to support me, the best way is to become my Patreon member or donate on PayPal. You can also become the member of this channel. And if you have Instagram, follow me there. It's AniaK_44 as well. Link is down below in the description box. Thank you for watching. Lots of love. And remember, we are the leading edge and we are saving humanity. And I see you in another video. Bye, guys.